on that. Setups. Setups. Taking your technique that you're doing and applying it to a fighter and making him think you're going to do one thing and do another. I'll give you an example. There's a gentleman back in the Richmond area, and that Sam Justice, really like Sam. He's a good, solid karate man, been around for a long time. We used to spar a lot. Well, Sam, he'd hit you. You get going in a technique or so, you get to a certain point, you kind of hesitate and stop, bang, you got hit. I remember we had a school that had concrete walls, but there was a parts department right next to us, like a Napa or something. And he hit me one time so hard after I'd stopped that I hit that wall, and the people came over and said, "Look, you just knocked a whole bunch of stuff off our wall over here. Could you ease up?" One time I got knocked through a sheetrock wall right between the studs, because Sam, he'd hit you. And he'd wait until you just stop, bang, and he hits you. So I said, boy, I got to do something here. And he working my timing. He had my timing down. He'd catch me when I was moving or something. So I said, okay, I'm going to do. What I did is I started slapping my rear hand to my forward hand to my forward leg. I'd move around, slap the hand. Move around, slap the hand. Move around, slap the hand. Well, Sam's eating his up. All I got to do is wait for him to put his forward hand down, his whole side of his head's open. I'm a-coming. Well, again, I was reading him. I saw his eyes. I knew where his head was. I had empathy with him. So I waited for the right time where he felt comfortable. I went and slapped my leg with my rear hand. He came across. I punched him square in the nose with my jab, and that's the last time that ever happened. So I set him up. Same as when trying to work a technique on somebody. I would do the same thing. If I wanted to catch somebody with a side kick technique, like an offset timing side kick, like a slide up side kick, hip fake or whatever, I would stand up and I'd throw a side kick and I'd hit the guy 2 or 3 times with it. I didn't even care where it hit him as long as it was legal. I didn't give it his arm, his shoulder, whatever. I just blasted him as hard as I could with a side kick. And I'd move around, do some other things. And all of a sudden I'd just come up and do a hip fake. Well, he's thinking that side kick's coming, I'm across. So I set him up. I let him read me, and then I utilized it. All right, so that's setups. And they're countless. Depends on what you can do, where your mind is, and what's going on, what your setups are going to be. And again, it's taking what you know and adapting. Just like the immortal Clint Eastwood said in Heartbreak Ridge, you got to learn to adapt and overcome. Same thing in a fight game. Time commitment